What's up guys, we've got another one live tutorial today, and I've got the engine here out of my little mini bike that you might have seen in the last video. I'll put a link to that at the end of this video and I'll show you a picture of it now. So it's a little mini bike that's going to be our little rat bike build, and I thought I'd give the engine a good strip down and a clean and show you guys how to do it as well. So these engines, they're dead common, they're used in loads of mini motos, pocket bikes, Midi motos, all those sort of miniaturised motorbikes and quads, and they're dead basic, dead simple. You can service them and clean them yourself. So I'm going to show you how, but let's get a closer view. Right, so here's a closer look at the engine, and we've got a little block and head all in one piece. Obviously your spark plug in the top, and your HDMI cap and lead going into the coil pack, which is also a little sort of Magneto, if you like, set up. So this flywheel spins and there's a magnet in there and a magnet on the pickup itself that makes electric for your spark. Got the carb here on the back, which is what we're going to strip first. This is the most common sort of problem with these engines. They won't run right, and most of the time it's just down to the carb gets clogged up easily because they're so small and there's not much tolerance. You get a tiny bit of dirt in them and it'll stop your engine from starting. Right, so I'm going to get that off first. First one's the air filter. It's just 2 Phillips screws, so that's simple. We'll use the drill for that, make it quick. Take it off the torque setting too. It's as simple as that. So those 2 screws, and that's your air filter inside this little plastic housing. There's not much to them, just a bit of foam. So keep your screws safe, obviously, for putting it back together. Next off, to get the carb itself off, as you can see here, we've got 2 Allen key bolts. So I'll find the right size and I can let you know what size it is. It doesn't say the size on it itself, but I think it's 6. Don't quote me on that though. In fact, before we unscrew this too, best to get your throttle cable off. So that is a little sort of a big sort of nut here that the cable goes into the top of. It should be hand tight, so you should be able to loosen it with your hands. If not, just get an adjustable on it, or a set of mole grips just to take the worst off. It'll come up and it should look like this. A little slider with a spring and the needle coming out the bottom of the slider. Now be careful of this needle, you don't want to dent that bottom bit, that spike. So get a cable out, just like on a set of brake levers, just sort of slide it out. Slide, the spring comes off and that will pull through, so you can then put the slide and the spring back in the carb. Just to keep it safe more than anything. Make sure you get it the right way around, which I've not, but it doesn't matter for now, it's only temporary. There's a bit of fiddly to get back on because the spring wants to push it back up. So back to where we were. Get these 2 Allen key bolts out. Now this engine's dry, it's not been run for a long time, but if you have just took it off the bike, bear in mind that the bottom of the car's going to be full of petrol. Depending on where you're doing it, you don't want to spill it everywhere. So keep those 2 bolts safe. Say 2 Allen key bolts for your carb, and that's the carb off. Quite simple. These, you got your choke bit there, you tap for your fuel line, and that's just an overflow line if it does overflow. So next stage is to undo these 2 fillet bolts here, screws should I say, to get the bottom off. It is a bit easier with a proper fillet screwdriver, But all my tools are at a friend's house from the clutch master cylinder video. What's that? At least it's got a Phillips in a bag, what thing? That screwdriver. Yeah, what was I saying? So, all my tools are not here from filming the clutch video on the Ford Fiesta. If you want to check that out, there'll be a link at the end of this. Give it a watch. So, got the bottom chamber of the carb off. This is where all your fuel sits before it goes through into the engine. As you can see, the gasket is a bit knackered, so ideally that needs to be replaced. But for the purpose of this video, we'll just throw it back on as it is. Bottom of the chamber, this is your float. Now you just want to make sure that there's no debris or dirt inside there. This looks pretty clean in general. Give it a quick wipe down anyway, and there's no bits of dirt on the float itself. Just keep it clean. Now, we've got your main jet. Now this is the bit that gets clogged and can stop your bike from starting. It's just a flathead screwdriver in the very top. Preferably one that fits. And it should undo very easily because it shouldn't be tight to start with. This is the top part of it. So I'm going to pull that out, and straight away it's clean because I think I've already cleaned this in the past once. I'll try and get that on camera. As you can see, it's a very tiny hole. Yeah? You just want to make sure that hole there is clear. No obstructions in it. Basically this just comes off, like I say, a pair of grips, unscrew it, and it's got a few little holes down the side of it. Just make sure they're clear, the same principle as with this piece. And there's nothing in it. You know, give it a good blowout and dip it in some petrol. Make sure it's clean. So you'll screw that bit back in first, and then this piece. I can nip it up with a screwdriver, but literally just nip it up. It doesn't need to be tight because you'll damage the copper. Go on it. Now make sure the bit your float sits on is flat and not sticking up like that. It's flat and ready for you to put the rest back on. Like I say, this needs a new gasket. Make sure the gasket's in good condition and it's set in properly into that bit there, and then you can place it on and into place. Now I'll put the two screws back. Right, your next piece is your reed valve. This most of the time stays pretty clean because the dirt won't get through your carb to start with to get in here. I won't bother with this, I'll leave it on, it'll be fine. It shouldn't be dirty to start with, but you can take it off and just give it a good spray with some WD-40 and get it cleaned up if you want. So we're going to put the carb back on now. And then the next job is the spark plug and the Magneto pickup. 2 Allen key bolts that we undid before. Just got to line them up with the holes. Get started. And tighten them up again. You know, give them a good nip, but don't over tighten them, because you'll just damage the threads otherwise. And next, put the air filter back. Right, so we've got the air filter back on, the carbs back on, and I'll show you putting the throttle cable back on as well, because it can be quite fiddly that. Oh, I was going to say watch out for the spring, it will just fire out. Tip upside down to get the slide back out. Right, so obviously make sure you feed this piece through first. That's your first bit, and you've got your cable coming out, then the spring, and then you simply pop it into there. You see that? So there's a slit down the side of that throttle slide, stick the cable in, slides in. We'll also watch the washer. There's a washer in the top of the slide. Okay, spring in, and then you can pull your cable tight from the other end if it's not already on the throttle. If it is on the throttle, it's a lot tighter, so it's better off just taking them off both ends first. That's the cable back, and now I can put it back in properly. There we go, and screw it down. Like I say, it's a bit fiddly, but just make sure you get it tight with your fingers. Nice and finger tight's enough. Right, spark plug. Pretty simple, most of you know how to do a spark plug. Find a long socket that fits on this particular plug, put a ratchet on the end of it, loosen it, pull it off, try and replace them if you can. If not, give them a good clean with a wire brush and some petrol. Put them back on, tighten them up hand tight, put your cap back on. There's not much else to these without stripping pistons out of things, but you know, if you guys want to know how to do a full strip, maybe put a rebore kit on or change the piston, let me know in the comments and I'll do another video. But for now, that's your basics on keeping it clean and running right. Always keep the carb clean, keep your filter fresh, make sure them jets I showed you are cleared out and your spark plugs clean or new, and you won't go wrong. Guys, my name's Sam Clark and it's been yet another One Life tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, show some support. That's it from me. Peace.